Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. This is the next episode in my While I Was Out series where I showcase all the eyeshadow looks that I've done off camera. Maybe I didn't have time to film them, maybe I didn't want to, but I do want to share them with you. So that's what today's video is all about. If you'd like to see that, then stick around. Before I forget, today's eyeshadow look is technically featured in today's video because I'm wearing it. I didn't film today's eyeshadow look, but I'm so excited to announce that I have completed this palette pull-in project. Palette pull-in is a little project I've given myself. It's like a mini palette bingo. I've randomly generated an eyeshadow palette from my collection, and I start working through the shades in consecutive order, just trying to incorporate the next shade into my eyeshadow look. So it's taken me a while to work through this palette because sometimes, actually more often than not, I have a really specific eyeshadow look planned and whatever the shade is doesn't work. Now sometimes I ignore that and I just go for it because that's the whole point of the palette pull-in, and sometimes I let myself slide and say I'm not going to do palette pull-in today. So it's taken me quite some time to work through this palette, but I finally finished it. Today I used this in my crease, this to deepen, and then technically this is my palette pull-in, the shade Grape Nut. So that's today's eyeshadow look, and on my lips I am wearing the NYX Smooth Whip matte lip cream in the shade Parfait. I do have some mascara on. I don't have anything in my waterline, so that's everything. Now I'm gonna scoot to the side and show you guys a whole bunch of other looks that I have done off camera. Let's start with look number one. This is the Sickly Sweet palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics, and I also used the Aura palette from Ace Beauté. I put white in my waterline, and on my lips I'm wearing the ColourPop lip oil in the color Paper Pansy. So this was actually my first time using the Sickly Sweet palette. I really enjoy the way that that palette also incorporates deep tones. It's not like the ColourPop Alice in Wonderland palette where you had a bunch of pastels and then a black. That's not the case with the Sickly Sweet. Sickly Sweet has a ton of pastels, and then it has some more midtones, and then it has some quite deep colored tones, not black. Because when you add black to a pastel, it's basically a black base and a white base, so you're gonna get gray. The ideal to add depth to a pastel palette would be to bring in dark colors. It makes a lot more sense, and it works really well in the Sickly Sweet palette. I think the formula in this palette is actually excellent. I mean, I'm really enjoying all of my Blend Bunny palettes, but this one also has the shimmer formula that I like the most from the brand. I like the Lure palette, and I have Surge as well, and Surge is older, then Lure, then Sickly Sweet, and I think the shimmers are just getting better. The mattes are always amazing, they're optimal. I think the shimmers are getting better and better. So the shimmer formula in the Sickly Sweet palette is really lovely to me. It suits my preferences of having a light tone, a lightweight sort of feel and look, but being very sparkly. I really enjoyed the coolness of this look, like the cool color story. I think it's kind of fetching on me with my undertones, and as my skin gets a little bit older, you know, you start to age, you need to soften your colors a bit. It's colorful and fun and pretty, but not too loud. And it looks great with silver hair. This next look was pretty cut and dry. This is the first time I used my Natasha Denona Retro palette. First time I used any Natasha Denona at all. I did this look by following a tutorial from Angelica Nyquist, and I was really happy with the performance. Everything's easy to work with. They're very high quality. They just feel nice. They end up looking nice. It's not the most exciting palette, but it is a really good representation of what it is. The undertones of the Retro palette, which is all berry, you know, they seem to work for my skin undertones, and actually the quality was so impressive that I have been considering getting perhaps the I Need a Nude at some point. We'll see. For this next look, I used the Queen Bee palette from Colored Rain. I put black in my waterline. Now, unexpectedly, I ended up using all 6 shades in this palette for this look. I wasn't planning on that, but that's just how it went. This look I found to be striking and dynamic, not super bold and like, you know, it's not neons, right? It's just, it is striking, it is impactful, it is beautifully sparkly, but it's also kind of a lovely harvest color story. It's just so warm and inviting and not scary. I really like this look. I really like the Queen Bee palette from Colored Rain. I haven't tried anything else from that brand, but if everything were as good as Queen Bee, I would definitely be interested. For this one, I also used the Sickly Sweet palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I used the Tropicolor palette from Sydney Grace, which is the one I just finished, my palette pull-in, and my waterline is showcasing the fluffy creme gel liner from ColourPop. I really needed to work the outer corner of this look a little bit better. I tried to do a wing, and then I didn't like it, and I blended it out a little bit, but not enough. I've tried that multiple times, and I never like the way it looks. I don't know why I keep trying. I should just give up. Like, I should just stop doing that technique because I don't like the way that it looks on me. I again loved the lightness of these shimmers. They were so eye-catching, so airy and sparkly, very ethereal and kind of fairy-like. My mascara did smudge, and overall I could have executed this whole look better. I don't remember if I was in a hurry or if I just wasn't feeling it, but I liked the concept, not so much the execution. This time I used the Paletopoly palette from Ace Beauté. There's nothing in my waterline, but I used the NYX This Is Milky Gloss in the shade Mint Choco Chip on my lips. Again, I've done this multiple times. I used the yellow and green column. I just can't stay away from that column. It's so much fun. I just love those colors. They're fun, they're interesting, they're a little bit different, they're not expected, and they're great quality. And I love the scrunchy shade in that palette. It's the like lemony yellow shimmer. It's really light and sparkly. It's so, so pretty. I did have to change it up from the last time that I basically used these colors. I decided to tie it into my shirt by using a bright blue in the lower lash line. I've also started with this look to pull my V out, my outer V, pull it out a little bit further, just blend it out a bit more. I'm enjoying that shape, and I've been doing it a lot more since. The Paletopoly palette is so good, the performance is excellent, and I just enjoyed this look overall. For this look, again, I used some Blend Bunny. This time I used the Lure palette. I put white in my waterline, and I'm wearing the NYX Smooth Whip in the shade Fuzzy Slippers. This is the look that I wore for my big competition concert. By the time I took this video, this was hours and hours in. I'd worn it the entire day. I worn it, well, not the entire day. I did my makeup before the concert, so I'd worn it for hours though. Under stage lights, hot and sweaty and nervous, excited, all those things. This is how the makeup looked after midnight when everything was said and done. It was pretty broken in at this point. What I did with the Lure palette was I just put 2 different purples, I think, in my crease, and then I used that beautiful pearl shade all over my lid. I brought in a little bit of purple and a little bit of sparkle, but not too much. And with stage lighting, sometimes it can cast weird shadows, so you have to be more careful about makeup application, highlight certain things and maybe not highlight other things. I don't know much about stage makeup, but I was happy with the way that this turned out. It was definitely visible and striking, but it wasn't too much on stage, in real life, or in photos. In this look, I used the Retro palette again. This was the second time I used it. I put white in my waterline, and I used the Burt's Bees Tinted Lip Oil in the color Showering Sunset. This palette really does give some very soft and refined looks. It just feels elegant, professional, a little bit classy. I like it. I'm enjoying the formula, and I was a little nervous going into the Natasha Denona formula that I might have trouble with the cream to powder. I just wasn't sure how to work with them, but the cream to powder formula actually reminds me of Udenzai mattes. Kind of, you place it down and then you buff out the edges. That seems to be how it works best, and I really love the Udenzai mattes, so it is perfect. I have no problems with that formula at all. I'm quite happy with the palette. I think that I used Sickly Sweet again for this look. I don't remember exactly, and I did put black in the waterline. I can see that from the video. Sometimes I'll do my look and then like for a homeschool day, for example, I'll do my makeup first thing and then I take the video later in the day when I have sunlight. So I don't always remember perhaps exactly what I used if I didn't take the video with the palette itself. I wanted lavender and depth for this look. I don't usually go monochromatic, but that was just what I was feeling at the time. I loved the tones. They were very pretty, and there was this nice light wash of sparkle. It was pretty. I did like that. I sort of had a gray purple base here, and it ended up being a perfect match to my headband and my shirt. Again, I'm not totally sure what I used, but I was happy with the result nonetheless. And finally, here's a guessing game for you guys. I have no idea what I used for this look. So tell me in the comments if you have any thoughts, if you're familiar with my collection, or if this just reminds you of a palette, whether or not you know if I have it, doesn't matter. I'm just curious because I don't remember what I used. If you have guesses, I'd love to hear them. So I had a grungy neutral outer corner, and then like a yellow brown shimmer with a light blue-green inner corner highlight. I don't know. I could have just popped around and used a few different palettes. It's not reminding me of any one palette, and I know my collection pretty well, and my collection is not hundreds of palettes. So you'd think I'd be able to pinpoint it, but I'm just not sure. Also, in this look, I don't like this one. I mean, the colors are fine, but I tried tape to do like a stark outer wing or a stark outer V. I really didn't like the way that it looked. And then I tried to blend it or buff it out a little bit, and that didn't help either. Maybe it's just not the best technique for me. Perhaps I did the angle wrong. I didn't love it. I didn't love the look at all. I liked the colors and they were pretty and fine, not super striking or exciting, but it was more the very stark line out here. It reminded me of when I first started doing eyeshadow, and I would try to create that line with like an angled brush, and it was just so much like I was wearing a mask. I didn't like it at all, and I still don't like it. So it's just not for me. I think I was trying to recreate something I'd seen on Instagram, and I was like, everyone's using tape and they're getting these amazing lines, but they know what they're doing, and maybe they have 10 other techniques that they're adding into the mix to make it all work. I didn't love it on me. I haven't enjoyed doing it. I just prefer something a bit softer. So there you go, guys. That is the last handful of eye looks I've done off camera. I hope you have enjoyed them. I've numbered them so that we can talk about them in the comments. Do tell me which ones you like the best, whether it's color story or just, you know, Rachel, I loved look number 2. I would love to know, because I so enjoy talking to you guys about eyeshadow. I like to see what you're enjoying. I like to share what I'm enjoying. And if you have any guesses as to those last 2 mystery palettes, I'm not totally sure what I used for the second to last one, and then I have no idea. No idea what I used for the other one. I'm really not sure. I was thinking perhaps it was the Palette palette again, because of that yellowy, greeny, brown sort of shimmer. And then the inner corner highlight, maybe it was the VHS shade. I don't know. I have no recollection, but it's fun to guess. So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Of course, thank you so much for being here today, for giving me a part of your day. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Do consider liking and subscribing if you haven't done so. I do tend to upload multiple videos every week, and I would love to see you guys in my next one. I appreciate your time, and I hope that you have a really great day. Bye.